Hello and welcome. I should be live, but I'm not sure if I am. So, oh yes. Yeah, it's just not in its vertical. Why is it doing this? It's so annoying. No, I don't want to record. Okay, I think that's the best that we're going to get for today. It's certainly wrong. Hmm. Okay, so we'll just go like that then because it seems it's frustrating because I am doing everything right, but it just isn't working. I followed the steps exactly and we have got it to work before, but it doesn't look like it's working, so the show must go on, I suppose. So we'll just carry on. Okay, yes, we'll just carry on. That's very unfortunate. Okay, so hello and welcome. Let me move over a little bit to the side here, but I do want to be a little bit to the side because my head is in the way of the banner today. I don't know. I couldn't get it right. So today is members only. So yes. So today is members only, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that first before we begin. So you'll remember you are all from different time zones. Well, most of you. So one thing that I have kind of noticed is I do stream at some times that are inconvenient for people, but when I do that, it is convenient for having working around Leon's schedule, shall we say, mostly because of course I don't work set hours, and the member stream doesn't have to be around Leon's schedule because we don't need to a moderator because we don't have spam and people being disrespectful because you're all members, you're all very nice. So this can be at any time. If it is an inconvenient time for you because this is like 11 a.m. for me, so I'm trying to do some earlier ones. I usually do around 6 to 8 p.m. GMT. So I am trying to vary the times and do times that will be suitable for you, but that it will not always be suitable for you. And if it isn't suitable for you and you are a member, you're very welcome to send me a message in email or Facebook or Discord and give me a few questions. Don't go crazy, don't go too crazy, but give me some questions. So today, Miss Venus could not make it. She asked very politely if she could send a few questions over because she can't make it. And I wanted to make kind of an announcement on that because I'm very happy for you guys to do that. If there is a members only stream, you can't make it, send some of your questions my way and I will do them. Perhaps not on stream, usually it'll be after the stream, but I get that because we have different areas of the US, we have India, we have the UK, they're like our main three, and they are very different in their time zones, and they're our main three, so you're very, very welcome to do that. So just so you know that you're very welcome to do that. So Jan says it's 6 a.m. my time, so I had to stay up. Well, you don't have to stay up. That's kind of the aim of doing some this early, doing some late. You don't have to make every stream. I appreciate if you do, but you don't have to make every stream. Don't feel like you have to sit up for the stream, because we will be varying. So we'll be, especially now that we've moved and everything's a little bit smoother, we will be varying. There'll be some this time, like 11 a.m., 12, noon kind of time. And then there'll be some, the usual times around 6 to 8. That does tend to be the time that most of you can make it. So, but I did want to do some a little bit earlier. I might do some even earlier morning ones to be accommodating to the Indian kind of time zone as well. So I wanted to make an announcement on that and let you know that you are all members here. You're very welcome to send in a few questions if you can't make it. So the banner is not visible today because of me being tall today. But yes, if you are seeing this and you're not a member, just read the banner. So subscribers, there will be many, many streams coming up for subscribers. So don't worry if you are just a subscriber. There's just some extra members streams because the members are paying. So they, of course, should get perks and benefits. And I've started as well picking up a few kind of cute trinkety type items for the next members packages. So I'm going to try to have them kind of ready or, kind of planned out ready. So I'm not leaving it too late when I send them because it do take a while to get to you guys. And, well, actually, I think these ones were quite quick. But yes, anyway, regardless, excited about that. So, let's see, I'll put my phone there. It's a bit easier for me. So, hi, yes, I'm doing well. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm doing very well. And what you may notice, so in my usual room at the moment, where I usually stream, I have the ring light, I have the light on, but there's a lot of light coming this way, and it's the sun. We are finally getting the sun in the UK, so that's really amazing. I'm really happy about that. So probably like the second day that's been quite nice. So I'm super excited. So let's see who's in. Thank you, Pooja, as well. Pooja, becoming a member again. Wonderful, amazing. So happy to see you. So happy for you to be here. So hello, Jan. Hello, Jasmine. Hello. Let's see. Is it just you two? Okay. That's fine. That's perfect. Perfect. Okay. So I am doing well. I hope you guys are. I think I said that already. So I didn't arrange cards, but if you guys do want cards, let me know. We have tons of cards around. I can pick a deck. And as well, just before I start, I'm sorry, I know I'm like announcement, but there is something. So I'm expecting a few interruptions today because there is a parcel coming, so that will be quite quick. But there's also someone coming about an issue in the house, and they're coming to fix it. But they are not giving me an exact time, and I have a feeling that it's because they're on another job first and they don't know exactly when that job will finish, because it all depends on how, easy it is for them to fix. So, so yeah, not getting like exact times there. I think it will be after the stream finishes. I'm feeling it's going to be like around 4 or 5ish, but we'll see. And if I do have to stop the stream, I did make an announcement. I will do another stream a bit later. So if we do have to cut this a bit short, if we only do like 1 and so hours after I stop talking, I may do another one a little bit later, another stream, and that may almost also accommodate more of the members. So yes, but we'll see how it goes. If there's only 2 of you, then it might be fine. It might be fine to just do an hour or so. But yes, I may do another stream a little bit later, just to let you know. So, without further ado, without me blabbing on anymore, let's get to the questions. Or the music starts. Sorry. Excuse me. Oh. Okay. Sorry. So, oh yes, so Pooja just asking there about emojis. In the members only streams, I'm not really focused on using emojis because it's only members. You guys tends to be quite respectful of each other, and also, there's not many people who come in. So if we only have like 5 people in, we don't really need to use the emoji system. Just put your questions in. It shouldn't take too long to get to you. Don't worry about that. So our first question, I believe, so sorry, it's very far up here. What are Caden's feelings and thoughts about me and the connection, and what are his intentions? So, okay, so how long has it been since the last stream? Let's see. I just don't want you guys asking like the same questions too soon. Okay, so I think it was 6 days ago. Not too bad. I will do it, but yeah, just bear in mind when you were just bear in mind when you're asking questions, if you've asked the question, in the same week or something, there's not really much point in asking the same question so close. So just a heads up on that. Energies take a little while to shift and change. A week is, over a week I would say is best. So let's see. I will see feelings, thoughts and intentions with the connection. Yeah, I would appreciate trying not to ask that every single stream, but I will check it and see if we have any changes here. There's a little bit of I think this might have come up last time, I'm not sure, you can let me know if you remember, but there's a bit of a stepping back. So I know sometimes I explain it as like, almost waiting to jump out of that plane with that, jump out of the plane, whatever, parachute, I don't know, however I describe it. But what I'm seeing is like a little bit of a step back on that, and it's kind of like an observation of what's going on and the connections around him, things around him, kind of more of a contemplation kind of energy, as opposed to being ready, like pretty much ready to speak, like on the edge, like it's on the tip of his tongue kind of energy. So the jumping out of the plane energy is very on the tip of the tongue kind of thing. but sometimes he takes a step back and is more in observational energy. And that's interesting because of this hesitation. It really does reflect this hesitation, about to say something, stepping back, about to say something, stepping back. So yeah, I do still feel that there's a little bit of that uncertainty, hesitation kind of energy. But yes, at the moment it's more like observational, see what's going on, see what's around me, see how I feel, see how, like, testing the waters, I know, is kind of the way to describe it. That's good. So Jan saying I'm doing better, things are starting to pick up a little with my situation. That's really good. There does feel to be like more of a, so although it's a stepping back in terms of action and intention, like having a plan and taking action, there does seem to be a real will, a real will in testing those waters, in the kind of like communicating more, and that kind of thing. Although it's observational from a kind of, I'm not going to like spew all my feelings kind of energy. There is a will to do that. A high energy of wanting to do that, wanting to see how things are. So that's good. I really hope you can keep up that communication, and we'll check in with your Discord messages soon. Yeah, so just recognition there, you guys, of the twin flame journey and the difficulties. So I confirm and appreciate that. Yes, the twin flame journey, that energy, very, very turbulent but rewarding. So the lows are low but the highs are high. That's what I say with twin flame relationships. The highs are really worth the lows. When the highs come, they're really worth the lows. So it's crazy. Oh, Jan says he didn't check it last stream. I'm almost certain that you did, so that's very strange. I'm sure you asked something along those lines. Jasmine, yeah, I'm rooting for you guys. It's still a slow process for us too. We're not all the way, but I do enjoy what we do have going on. Yeah, that's really, and I feel like your situation's really taking a step. It's really taking a step forward. Jasmine, did Twin Flame want to see or hear from me yesterday, even though he knew I was busy? Was he thinking about reaching out? Okay. Yeah, so this definitely, so what I kind of saw with the situation as it was, just a while ago, just a few steps back, a lot of that, those thoughts were subconscious. Like I said, there was dreams that come through, but it was a lot in the subconscious. So you come up in dreams a lot because the subconscious is kind of, it comes out, doesn't it? In the dream space. So, it feels a little bit like there's, if we imagine like the subconscious as the back of the mind here, the back of the head, like the thoughts are kind of creeping forward. They're creeping forward. There is more conscious thoughts creeping forward. So, in a general kind of sense, you are on the mind more. So that's I think you said yesterday, but that's very general as well. So yes, about yesterday. But was he thinking about reaching out yesterday? So I'll check that specifically about yesterday. Yes. So I get a yes there. Pooja, what was the real reason in N's mind while he was breaking up from our connection? Okay. all I really see here is this kind of inability to picture anything ahead, you know? Kind of like this feeling at just feeling like things are coming to an end, feeling like I can't really see anything past this. I can't see, you know, a future. I can't envision it. You know, I'm really getting that feeling like. There may have been other reasons, there may have been things that impacted this, but what I'm really seeing clearly is this inability to see anything in the future. So there could have been things that influence this. Sometimes they're art, sometimes it's genuinely just I don't see this going anywhere. So you know, but oh, so that is the parcel. Bear with me one moment. Um, okay, I'm back. I think you can hear me as well. Okay, so Jasmine, does he want to see or hear from me today? Okay. Yeah, there is a desire there. Desire, desire to just generally. So just genuinely. So genuinely. Um, yeah, today, soon. You know. Yes, getting that feeling. Um, Jan says, "What is the energy between Caden and M?" The energy feels it feels quite similar in terms of there is this kind of compatible friendship level compatibility, but it does also seem like there has been like consideration and observation around the potential of a relationship, and it seems like there's a lot of blocks with that. So a lot of kind of incompatibility, a lot of, you know, whether this is on like a conscious level or a conscious level, coming to blocks, coming to like this wouldn't work, coming to we're not, you know, compatible in a relationship sense. So there's a really strong friendship compatibility, but it doesn't spill over to relationship, if that makes sense. So yeah, but I do think that there has been some conscious acknowledgement of that, whether that is because interest was shown and there was kind of like a I'm not, you know, in the place for that, some discussion, something like that. It does feel like there's been something conscious with that, something conscious, not just kind of in the mind as well, or thinking, you know, oh, we get on really well, but I'm not interested. Some level of conscious discussion or thought, or, you know. Pooja, is N getting into awareness about the truth of our connection? If yes, what he feels about that? Okay. There's not quite a conscious awareness. There isn't quite a level of consciously being aware, conscious awareness of this. So it's a little kind of, it's almost like, so like I was saying before about when I was answering Jasmine, I was talking about this kind of understanding, this when you have a twin flame connection, a very strong spiritual connection, there is an understanding of it. Sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes it's just, you know, stored somewhere, and it's not fully, you know, people, us guys who know, you know, about twin flames, we're very consciously aware of when we meet our twin flame, that energy that we feel, the things that happen in that connection and how it goes. We're very conscious of that. People who aren't very conscious of that or don't believe in that have more of a difficulty coming to terms with that, and kind of, or coming to terms with the fact that there's something there, something strong there. But it does feel like there is more coming into the conscious mind. So like I was saying with Jasmine, when there was a lot of subconscious and just dreams with her twin flame, it's like creeping into the conscious a little bit, coming a bit forward in the mind is how it seems with him. So I wouldn't say the truth of the connection, so I wouldn't say it's quite that strong, unfortunately, but there is more coming into the subconscious at the moment, as opposed to kind of a ignoring of that, which we have seen in the past. Yeah, and it is interesting. So we have all three of you guys on here have twin flame connection. So we'll just say and kind of reiterate as well something Jasmine said earlier. And Jasmine said that it's strange because as soon as she was ready to give up and kind of, you know, she accepted, she gave up, she was just in her divine feminine energy, not in the energy of the divine union, just in her personal divine feminine energy. She was ready to give up and very accepting of that, and that tends to be, in a lot of cases, when the twin flame comes back in, because that union spiritually wants to happen. Both of you, your souls, your spirits, want to have that experience, because the twin flame, why is there such highs and lows in twin flame journeys? Because there's so many lessons and rewards, you know? And it's interesting because when you are ready to give up and walk away, they suddenly come back into the picture, because subconsciously, on a spiritual level, you want to be connected, you want to come together. It's like a magnet. So when you're kind of being the magnet, the chaser, it's not so much an issue because you're in their lives. They can kind of do whatever they want. You're there, you're still there. As soon as you're ready to give up, they do tend to come in. So yeah, that does happen, which is why part of the twin flame journey when you are separated is about stepping into your divine energies, is about individuality, the personal journey, because as soon as you do that, the twin flame comes back in. So it's interesting. So Jan says, do you see Kaizen returning to the jump off the plane, ready to confess mode soon, and if so, when? Yes. So possible before the end of this month, but also getting a kind of few days to 3 week time frame, so a bit of a time frame there. Jan says he won't give up, although at times like this, with the stepping back, it's a bit discouraging. Yeah, but the stepping back with Kaizen at the moment, it's very observational and willing. So it's not stepping back from the connection, it's testing the waters and observing. So he's not really, it's not on the tip of his tongue like it is when he's ready to jump off that plane. But there's still a willingness to observe and see how things go. And when you're in that stage, when he's in that stage, it's kind of important for you to, I suppose, be your kind of, I don't want to say be your best self, be your authentic self, of course, but don't step back into any old habits, basically, be your authentic self that's grown, because that will be positive to see and positive for the union. Justin says it's really discouraging. I know when I was starting to give up, he reached out. My feelings towards him were up and down. Sometimes I get angry at him, but it's very normal to feel that way. Yep, very true. Jan, I was hoping he would still be in that ready to confess mode. But yeah, I do feel very up and down at times, like you said, and angry sometimes at him for making up his... I know. It's the time it takes can be very, very disheartening. Pooja, am I progressing on my spiritual journey, or if I am stuck somewhere and need to do more work on myself? Okay. Yeah, so there's a really positive energy with your kind of spiritual journey, with your third eye, your crown chakra. There's a really vibrant, positive energy. You have, I can see some kind of gold light in your aura, which is very, very nice, very, very spiritual, very divine. So it does look good. I do feel that some heart chakra and solar plexus chakra work would be beneficial to you, whether you focus on those areas in meditation or you get Reiki or sound healing or anything like that. Listen to frequencies for those areas. It does feel like heart chakra and solar plexus need a little bit of work, but that does make sense when you're on the twin flame journey and you're currently not in the union. The heart chakra can benefit from work. When you are also doing any self-work, the solar plexus is good to focus on, because when we focus on the solar plexus, I know I always talk about the solar plexus, but self-confidence, self-love, self-worth, and just confidence in general and motivation, all of those things, which we need for our spiritual journey. We need belief in ourselves and we need confidence as well. And Jasmine, it's hard to understand. From our point of view, we as women are very expressive and act on our emotions, as men are very calculated and hesitant. Yes, and also that it's depending on who, where they're from and how they were brought up and all those things. I mean, I know everyone's different, but a lot of the time with men as well, they kind of learn to be disconnected from their emotions a little bit, which makes it difficult when you're, trying to be in that union, because they oftentimes are a little bit disconnected and they're very used to kind of ignoring or dampening their emotions, and it can become subconsciously done as well as that habit forms. So Pooja says, if N couldn't see any future of our connection, then why would he connect back occasionally? Yes, so I did think of this anyway, but I just want to check in the ball. So you are a twin flame connection. I think you do know that anyway. so the connecting back is kind of, it's very common. I know it's common in a lot of relationships anyway, because when not everyone is very decisive, so it can be difficult, when we move on, we can question, did I do the right thing? Was that the right thing to do? Should we, it's very common for people to try to keep that communication channel open when they're uncertain of themselves and if they made the right decision. When people just completely cut you out of their lives, it's completely done. That can be in the times when they're very decisive and they know exactly what they want. But when a twin flame union breaks up, there will always be some level of like magnetism, and there will be a communication channel that's left open, whether it's kind of at the kind of control of the one being chased. Usually a lot of the times it is. They might even block you, they might even, ignore you, but as soon as they feel that pull, that magnetic pull, they will reach out and they will open the communication channel, even though a lot of the time they'll close it for you and not let you connect with them. But yes, it's very common in twin flame relationships. It is generally just something that happens. It's difficult to be completely detached and be completely, not connected, basically. Jan, yesterday or today, why was Em so upset? I noticed she threw a tantrum and Caden hanged out with her as well, but she still seemed upset, even though they hanged out last night. Okay. Okay, so I'm not feeling too strong of negative emotions here, so I don't think I'm picking up on it. I don't think I'm picking up on the emotion at all. So I'm not really grasping that. And that's strange because a lot of the time I find her quite easy to read, which is, of course, it makes my job easier. But yeah, I'm not really picking up on a lot of negative emotion there, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. It must be blocked a little bit there. Jasmine, I want to kiss him but don't want to overstep his boundaries. Does he want to kiss me, or would he be happy and receptive if I did kiss him? Okay. Okay, so there is desire to do that, but there is also a little bit of indecision and hesitance. So I would say, I would say yes, but I would say not too soon. Okay, so I would say to kind of gauge the time frame when that's right, because I do think that there is an aspect of it being too much too soon. I know it's not too soon, rarely, on the grand scheme of things, but in this current moment, in this current chapter that's going on, it's a little bit too soon. That's how it kind of seems. So I hope that makes sense. Pooja says, I can understand that. That's great. Yeah, so I think the issue is like with this twin flame journey, you're all at different kind of levels. So Pooja's at a very disconnected level when they're very disconnected. Jan's at a kind of in between level, I would say. Like it could go right really quickly, it could go wrong really quickly. Jasmine's are a kind of, more along the path level than that, so she's kind of, but she's been at the disconnected level for a very long time, so do bear that in mind, that it's not always the same for everyone. I do feel like Jasmine's twin flame energy is really ramped up, and they've came together again in quite spontaneous, quick kind of energy. Not energetically, not spiritually, but in the physical, it may seem that way. Yeah, so it's interesting actually to just have you guys. I do have, because I did say I have been saying, so do bear in mind about that, that you can send the questions in if you can't make the stream. I have a few questions from Miss Venus, which I will do after the stream because she could not make it. Yeah, I think I will do after the stream. Okay, so let's look at Jan, when is reconciliation? When is the snowball of communication? Okay. Okay, so snowball of communication seems pretty imminent. Seems like it could still be, you know, within the next week or so. It seems like it's kind of ready to go, if that makes sense. And then we're looking at reconciliation, so let's see that. Yeah, so I'm guessing like around May time. Yeah, you can, if a question comes through as murky, unclear, only a little bit of information comes through, you can kind of ask the question in a different way, or come back to it at a later date as well if it's kind of very important to you. Yeah, so just to reiterate that as well. Pooja, does coming lunar and solar eclipse bring any negative experience for any traumas to purge out? Okay, so this is very interesting. So, the solar eclipse, well, I think it's the 8th of April, if I'm not mistaken. We are... Yeah, okay. So, forgetting about any collective energies and looking more personally to Pooja, that's the idea. So, eclipse energy, anything negative, any traumas, anything to purge out. Okay. Okay, so this could actually bring in some good energies for you. But there does seem to be some level of an emotional release that happens. So I'm not seeing if there's like an event or something that instigates this, because it's kind of like, how we say if something like really strange happens, we say like, oh, it must be a full moon kind of thing. I don't know if there's going to be something that happens, like influenced by the eclipses, something that happens that causes an emotional release, that causes some negative emotion to come up within you. But even if the thing that happens is quite small, if you feel the urge to have a very big emotional release, do it and don't hold back, because it does seem like an emotional release is quite important at this time. So a really big release of emotions. So sometimes as well, I know this sounds really strange, but when I feel like I need like this kind of clearance of energy, of emotions, because like I can watch like a kind of sad movie or something to really kind of help me kind of release these emotions. But so I'm not really seeing if there's like an event or something that happens, but I'm seeing a big emotional release. So around this time, the time of this eclipse. And also, to see something else there. Oh yeah, so I was seeing as well, just going back to that there could be really, really positive outcomes with this. So there could be there could be a really positive path that opens up for you in terms of a relationship, in terms of a connection, for a romantic connection, some kind of advancement in a romantic connection, just a little bit after this time, after this eclipse. So positive advancements in relationships could come, but something that may cause an emotional release. So it would be good to make sure you are releasing, if, like I said. So sometimes we can be over emotionally expressive, really feeling into our emotions. So don't hold back if you're kind of called to do that. Don't hold back. And for that as well, also seeing that you had heart and solar plexus as well to work on. You could do something with the heart as well, something with your heart chakra, protecting the heart chakra. There's a lot of energies and changes going on with the heart chakra because, for one, you need a little bit of work on it. For two, there's this romantic chance coming in, so that's heart chakra as well. And then also the emotional release also revolves around the heart chakra. So it does seem like heart chakra activations, heart chakra energy, a lot of heart chakra work needed, and heart chakra focus needed there. So I know, I hope that helps a little bit. Jasmine says, yes, makes total sense with his situation, can be quite overwhelming for him. It's been 13 years separation for us, and yes, years worth of not communicating, yes. Jan, how does Caden feel about adding his name to her bio on Discord and Instagram, and her quote about all her soul being in his hands? Okay. Yeah, so it does seem like this has instigated some communications. This has instigated some discussion, a little bit of conflict, a little bit of kind of, instigated talking about this connection, So I do feel like it's very conscious within him, and kind of at the forefront of his mind, how he does feel that this is a compatible friendship but not relationship. So there's a little bit of kind of, there has been thought about that, has been discussion about that. It is very kind of open, cards on the table kind of energy, but well, that is the energy it gives, of course. When you're not in a official committed relationship, but you're doing things like that, it's very cards on the table energy. And I feel like he has put his cards on the table as well and said his truth and how he feels. But I do feel like there is kind of almost a little bit of a disregard for that, because there's this discussion about that. There's like I said, cards being on the table, but there's almost like a discounting kind of his truth and his authentic self being there, and wanting to still go ahead with this, wanting to see how things go kind of energy. So very much like, I feel like M is in a very similar boat as Caden, in essence of wanting to test the waters and wanting to see how things go. Whereas he's doing that generally. So he is kind of, observing that connection with her, observing the connection with you, observing how he feels, where his emotions are. She's also doing that, but it's very revolving around their connection, revolving a lot more around their connection, not so much a choice between this person, and this person. But there's definitely all cards being on the table kind of energy, which, of course, that it goes without saying really with the fact that she's done that. But there's been discussion before that, but that has also instigated its own discussions as well, if that makes sense. If that even answers the question. How does Caden feel? Yeah. So since we had our big talk, does he really believe we ought to inflame and really believe everything I told him? Is his mind open now? Okay. Okay, so there's a little bit of resistance to believing to kind of accepting that level, but there's also a what was the question? Sorry. Yeah, an open-mindedness. Sorry, I was like that just came and went. Yeah, there is an open-mindedness. So there definitely is an open-minded energy. It's not like a closing off, a completely disregarding the idea, but there is a, not full belief in everything, but an open mind is what I would say. Jan, has Caden spoken to Drew about me or M? If so, what was said? I have been noticing they have been spending a lot of time together. Has Caden spoken to Drew about me or M? Okay. Yes, so he's spoken about M, and there's the same energy and idea where he's put all of his emotions out. He's expressed like how he feels and how he sees the connection, and how he, in a sense, doesn't see it going anywhere in a romantic sense, if that makes sense. So there's very much kind of a opening up the true authentic self again, cards on the table to Drew. So yes, we'll say yes. Let's see, communication about you, conversation about you. Not recently. I'm not seeing that. Not recently. Music stopped again. Jasmine, what was this dream about where I was walking? What was this dream about where I was walking around in a huge building with Randall, and a human-like entity told me not to tell it off after it basically tried to get me. Okay, so you're in a huge building, and a human-like entity told you not to tell it off after it tried to get you. Okay, it's very interesting. Okay, so it actually seems like this was more of an astral type experience. So, in the dream, so well, it's difficult to describe because it's just different levels of consciousness. We have like that dream level of consciousness, those brain waves and dreams, and then we have like maybe going. I don't really want to say it's going up a level, but the astral spaces, you know. So it does seem like it was much more within the astral kind of spaces, and you can do that. You can go from like from the dream space or from sleep into being in the astral realms, and without remembering, like leaving the body and all of those things. But there is a astral realm energy coming up in this, so it does seem like this was an entity, and I'm getting neutral with this entity, so it's not so with entities we can be, if you think of an entity, so think of like the jinn, you know, they can be neutral and they can be good. Some entities are similar to humans in that they can be good, they can be neutral, they can be bad. Not all entities are inherently just bad. and this seemed to be like a neutral entity with a neutral kind of energy. So with these kind of beings, they can, if they choose to feed off like human off emotions, they can feed off those lower emotions if they want to, but it's not like they're drawn to that. It's not like it's their kind of that in that lower entities, and it's just what they do, and they're very neutral. So it does seem like this entity is a neutral being, is a neutral kind of energy, and so this entity doesn't want to be banished. So it's really interesting because what I'm seeing like flashes of when I had an astral experience and I called on my mum, and she actually shouted at the entity. She was like pointing and everything like that, but she was saying something, and I think it was some kind of like curse or something, you know. She removed it by doing this, and it does seem like you have that ability. You could have done that, and the entities are very aware of our spiritual abilities and of our level of spirituality, and it seems like it was aware of this and it knew that you had that kind of ability, and because it's in this neutral energy, it's not necessarily going to be inherently negative. It was very scared of you banishing it in a sense, so banishing it. And yeah, that's the main thing that comes through. I mean, I'm sure that there are reasons why you were with Randall and all of that. I'm sure that there's more to the experience, but that's what's coming through there, and with the entity. And that's interesting because you're very active in the dream space. You are very active in the dream space, so it doesn't surprise me that some of your experiences will be astral experiences as well. And it doesn't surprise me that you would have the ability to work with and to banish or to, you know, remove entities and things like that. I'm very positive and confident that that is within you. Those abilities are within you. Yeah, so that's interesting. Jan, so essentially he didn't appreciate it much because they aren't in a relationship and he doesn't think they're compatible. Yeah, so there's no like official relationship. It's not like that. It's not like, you know, I don't know, like, I don't know how to express it, like, will you go out with me? I don't know how people really say it, you know, and in the real world it doesn't really happen like so much like that, but yes, so, there's no like kind of agreements that we're in this official relationship, but you know, you have the title of my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever, there isn't really the energy of that, but yeah, so there is the energy of her wanting the relationship, of course, you know, the cards are on the table, that the emotion is expressed, but with him it's I would say in a sense it's similar to the connection with you, where there's been a lot of hesitance and a lot of kind of I'm not sure of that, but of course with her he recognises the incompatibility in a relationship sense, whereas he doesn't with you, but there's still that kind of that hesitation, that kind of I don't know how else to put it, but yeah, a lot of kind of hesitation, a lot of kind of uncertainty, being unsure. Jasmine says, in a previous dream, this is really annoying me, bear with me one moment. I was just going to say giving up on that. And that's like the twin flame connection. You give up on it and then it comes. Okay. See how long this wants to play for? Oh, please. Please, please, please. Okay, so Jasmine, in a previous stream, I hit the female that R is dealing with in the head a few times with a cast iron skillet. Oh my gosh. What was that all about, and why am I so violent and aggressive in my dreams? Okay. Yeah, so this goes back again to entities. So this goes back again to the astral, it goes back to entities. Sometimes we can see an entity in our dreams, or embodiment of a negative energy. So it's not always an entity, but it can be, for example, if I had a friend who was about to cause a lot of issues in my life, I may see them in the dream. I may see them, the embodiment of all that negative energy they're going to cause me is going to come through, almost like an entity, you know? So it can be an entity, it can be an embodiment of a lot of negative energy, like someone who, this person may just be representing that, and it may not be that person who's bringing you negative energy, the person who shows up in the dream. Sometimes they do look like an entity, sometimes they look like a person, but this is some kind of negative form coming to you in the dream. And this is interesting because this is very, very ancient practice with like Islam and with the sheikhs, I think that's what they're called. They do say this. So if you really want to get into entities and to know about that kind of side of astral travel or spiritual protection, the sheikhs are very, good sources to go to. And one thing that they really do express and talk about when it comes to entities is if you defeat them in a dream, if you defeat them, so you're actually physically having a fight with them in a dream, if you defeat them, they will leave, and they will, so let's say in the example of the friend, so this friend's going to bring me negative energy. It's not actually an entity, I'm not in the astral, it's just an embodiment of this negative energy this person's going to bring me. If you defeat that in a dream, it's helping in the physical. So what it's doing is it's giving you some level of protection against this negativity. So something will happen, something will help you, something will come along. So whether it's an entity or a kind of form of this negative energy that's there, you are protecting yourself. So it is a very tested and trusted practice with the sheikhs, and it's not something I do. I've never really had that. Actually, I think maybe I have, like when I was younger, but it's not something I would commonly do. But it is a way. So there are many ways to get rid of entities or get rid of, forms of negative energy. That's a very trusted one by the sheikhs. But you can also do sending them love. You can also do the cursing, cursing like that. There are many things that you can do, but defeating them in a dream is kind of a big one and a very tested one. So you may have a tried and tested one. So maybe there was some negative energy coming to you, and sometimes the embodiment, so when it comes as a specific person, sometimes that can be very significant. So it can be that person, it can be if she was, connected to Randall in some way, it can signify Randall, or something that Randall's going to bring along. So yeah, it's interesting to try to decode, why was it that person? Was that symbolic, or is it literally that person that's going to bring you negative energy? So, Jan, what did Drew tell Caden when he opened up about the situation with pushing a relationship with him? Okay. So there's a support. There's a lot of support. Um, there is a kind of there is a bit of a positive energy, a bit of a towards her, a bit of positive energy towards her as well. But there is also a recognition of his uncertainty and his doubt and his hesitance. So there is kind of a discussion about that, or an open understanding of that, at least kind of knowing that it's not a finished closed decision. Like it's not, he's not sure about that. So there is an understanding of that and a kind of recognition of that. But there's a great support, and that support comes in, you know, whatever you kind of choose kind of energy. You know, it's kind of like I will support, you know, whatever you kind of choose kind of energy, and that's very nice kind of friendly energy. You know, very nice supportive energy. But yeah, it seems a lot to be kind of like support, and a lot to kind of be like a recognition of the way you feel, not so much trying to make the decision or putting any thoughts or ideas in the mind. It's very much like a holding space kind of energy, which is a nice thing to feel. To feel. Jasmine, that makes sense. I found myself waking myself up in my sleep before years ago. When I was a Christian, I would call on Jesus, and now I call on my spirit team since I'm not religious anymore. Yes, that's exactly like Kaylee. So we do have another member, Kaylee, and that's what she used to do. So she was religious. She used to call on Jesus or Archangel Michael, and I think she still does call on. Well, she still calls on both because she's so used to doing it. It's kind of like when you're in that spiritual space and you're not fully, you know, integrated into your physical body and that conscious mind that's within. You're more in the subconscious realms, the astral realms. It's kind of like, it's not different you, but it's kind of shifted in its focuses. So I think a lot of the times in habit, she still does call on Jesus, and Archangel Michael, of course, yeah. You know, you don't have to be religious for that, but I think she does that out of habit. But yeah, she tries to call on like her mother who's passed, spirit team and things like that. So very similar situation where she would used to call on Jesus. Pooja, last question, if I can know that will N be going through spiritual awakening in the coming months? Like, will got the nudge from the universe to awaken to his true self? Okay. Yes, so there does seem to be a possibility of this around mid-year, maybe a little bit past the middle of the year. There does seem to be a possibility, opportunity of this for this to happen. It doesn't seem like a really high, big, prominent thing on the path, such as there are paths you can go down where this doesn't happen. Basically, is what I'm saying. But there is a good chance. So what I would say at the moment, in terms of this, in terms of at that moment of kind of having a spiritual awakening, having more of a, I know spiritual awakening isn't just one big event, but a trigger that pushes him more into the spiritual path and more into spiritual understanding. I would say there's three main paths at this point, and one, it's around 55%. That is the trigger having more of those spiritual awakenings, and then there's these two paths next to it that are lesser prominent, but yes, so they're like kind of three paths I'm seeing. So there is a possibility of this. It's not hugely prominent, but it's a little bit more than the others, so that's good. Jan, why is currently upset at Caden? Was there another conflict that happened very recently? Okay. Yes, there's been a little bit of an ongoing conflict, an ongoing issue. I would say for around, it's definitely coming up, like the last 3 days seem to be quite strong. But I would say, you know, spanning a little bit long, more than that, like maybe a week to 3 days in the past. But the last 3 days does seem to be quite strong in that energy, quite strong in that conflict kind of energy. incompatible kind of energy, disconnected kind of energy. Jasmine, I feel like I have a very warrior spirit and I fight against evil. Like I set my intentions and have more normal talks with the spirit world every time I have fear or I'm being attacked. Like they will not be allowed to do what they want with me. I have very firm boundaries and I tell them I fight back. Yes. And if I remember correctly, so correct me if I'm wrong if you remember, but I think that the first time I did your aura, as there was a lot of red in it, like, but not that negative anger red, that warrior spirit red. I'm so certain, I'm almost certain that that was your aura the first time I did it. There was a lot of red, and I think I remember a lot of red at the bottom, and it was, yeah, like I said, that bright, vibrant warrior spirit energy, not that anger red. So let me know if you recall, because I'm so certain, I do feel that with you. And that's interesting because I barely do that. I barely do the fighting them. I barely do the cursing like that, like my mother does. So I mean I do sometimes like do a bit of a kind of curse to them, but I would say much more commonly I do energy work, because it's very it feels like a more, I suppose I'm not so much like warrior energy. I'm kind of very calm, kind of I don't want to say passive because I'm very into my work and into what I do, but I suppose that kind of energy, I use a lot of energy work and spell work and like trance meditation and ritual, as opposed to, having full kind of fights in the astral, which are very beneficial. And I think that is a really great skill. If you can fight them, if you have boundaries against them, and if you can curse them as well, that's a very great skill. And I would certainly recommend getting really into that. And if you can, if you find anyone that you can practice on, I know it can be difficult, but if you can find anyone who has a very negative form or entity, and try to like help them, try to release it, because that's one thing that I did when I realized I could, remove entities, and I was very kind of I practiced that, a little bit when I could, and it's a great skill and it's a great ability to have, a really great spiritual ability, because a lot of people need that, a lot of people get entities a lot of the time. Jan, why has Caden been hanging out with again? Last time we saw he was actively avoiding her. I don't know why he's suddenly hanging, especially because he knows she still thinks it's romantic. Okay. There's some kind of interesting energies with that connection. There is an energy of kind of trying to make it work, but there's also an energy of not wanting to put any kind of title or label, or feel pressured to be a certain way, like be romantic, be all of those things. It's almost like there is positive energies in this connection. There's, like I said, there is great compatibility on a friendship level, and there is, some positive energies in this connection. It's like all I can say. Sorry, I'm having difficulties with it, because it's a little bit interesting how there's a conflict of energy. So there's compatibility here, but this is also very strongly from Caden's side this desire not to put any labels, not to go down that path, not to be rushed or pushed down that path, especially. There's especially this energy of not wanting to be rushed or pushed down that path as well. And it seems like he feels that she does that as well. But there's still a desire to kind of this keep this connection, not, you know, it isn't really a wanting to end it or a wanting to completely cut it off. Overall, there is kind of a draw in this connection. But there is times when he does feel like that, and he does want to do that, and that's kind of what I want to increase. You know, I want that to increase quite a lot, more than it is, because there is the arm's length thing in this connection, like not wanting to put any kind of title, not wanting to go down a romantic path. It's not respected, and it's not, you know, as you can see, it's not really respected, and it's not really taken seriously, if that makes sense. So it does feel like there's possibility for this completely wanting to end the connection to increase more, but in this current energy, and especially in past energy, it really seems like there's not a lot of desire to completely end the connection, which, you know, we want to amplify that, we want to bring that about. It's not really a positive connection anyway, you know. I think that's interesting because a lot of the time when you work with someone who's in a twin flame connection, the partner, the other person can be in a relationship a lot of the time, and it's interesting when you work with someone where that you're working with them, you're doing spells with them, and they want this person back, and that the connection's really strong. So you know, you agree, you want to do it because there's great compatibility in a romantic sense with that connection. But a lot of the time, the person will be in another relationship, and it will be really nice. It will seem very calm and kind of compatible. So you don't want to. You feel a little bit bad. There's a little bit of a bad feeling, even though you know that they're twin flames, so it's okay to do that work. But in this connection, it really seems like, in the romantic sense, there's a lot of mismatched energy. They don't connect. They don't align, or they're not compatible in a romantic sense. So it almost feels like, you know, a thumbs up, you know, kind of, yes, you can break up this connection because there's not a really romantic energy there, and there's definitely a disrespect from her side. So yeah, I'm sorry, blabbing on a little bit there. I hope that makes sense. Yes, let me try and spell that for you. Just make sure I'm doing it right. Goo, let's take some goo. Yeah, I think I've got it. I think that's right. So yeah, she's a female. He told me they were thinking about getting into a relationship, but he told her he still loves and wants to be with me, so I'm unsure she feels negatively towards me. Okay, yeah, so it could even be like um a subconscious psychic attack, you know, because it's almost like there isn't really a negativity towards you because you haven't really done anything wrong, but because you're the person that he still loves, yes, so a kind of like psychic attack that can be subconscious. So don't forget, psychic attacks are not always purposeful. They're not always very in the conscious mind, they're thinking negative things about you. So just bear that in mind as well when you do that work, that sometimes you'll pick up psychic attacks that are subconscious and people unintentionally place, they didn't mean to be so negative. Sometimes. So, Jan, I was worried that Drew would try to encourage Caden to pick Em instead of telling him you should listen to your heart and feelings. If it doesn't feel right, it isn't right for you. Yeah, that's the kind of energy. It's definitely a supportive kind of energy where he would be supportive on either side, but yeah, he would be supportive on either side, but not really pushing for one side or the other, which is positive in a sense because it's not pushing on her side, but it would be really nice if he was pushing on your side, Okay, the handyman is just messaged here, so bear with me. Okay, going to be earlier than he thought, which is great because I need to go and pick my car up later, hopefully. So, between 2:30 and 3, that's what I was thinking and hoping for anyway. So, I think I have my manifestation loading t-shirt on, so maybe I did manifest that. Because I wanted to go smoothly where he comes and then I go and get the car. I was like, doing my my prayers. Okay. Oh, now I need the chatter. What am I doing? So sorry about that. Oh no, I've gone off the chat. Oh my days. Jancy's especially true because I feel like he's way more fond of Em than me. That's really unfortunate. What are all of these sexual encounters I'm having with different men about? It's very weird, like I'm sexually promiscuous in the astral realm. Yes, so be careful of that. Be very careful of that because that's also another way that entities can get in and can try to attach as well. Sometimes, you can have sexual encounters in the astral realm. It is are they visually actual sexual encounters? Like, does it look like a sexual encounter, or does it just feel like but doesn't look like, if that makes sense? So yeah, I would just be interested in that because there are ways that you can have kind of like sexual feeling, like orgasmic kind of feeling, in the astral realm, and it doesn't look sexual but it feels like it is. But sometimes you can have where it looks like it is. I would be careful, because that is a way that other way, like I said, the entities can get in. Yeah. So Jasmine sees this interesting. Definitely going to get into that. I would volunteer, but I'm very good at not protecting myself from entities now because of what I do. I did work with. I don't know if that's the right thing to say. I did deal with a few entity attachments of my own. I have 3 entity attachments, and I'm very good now at keeping myself clear of them. But anyone can get them, and I think that a good thing is to be accepting of when you have one, and admitting of when you have one and deal with it, instead of being like kind of denying it. I was quite young when I had my first one and didn't really understand it. It was like a sleep paralysis experience where I saw it and I didn't really understand it, and I saw some positive, nice things as well. So I think I kind of overlooked it, and I had it for a while. I had it for quite a while. I was like younger, I didn't really fully understand. Jan wants me and Caden snowball our communication. Do you see him gaining clarity with his feelings for me more and deciding to reject M? As in like him comparing how he feels with me. Okay. Yes, I do. And I also feel as well, so when I say like testing the waters, taking a step back and observing, I feel like there is already the energy of that. I do feel like there's in some way already a full process of that going on. Yeah, she's really pushing him and has a disregard for his boundaries, and 2, he knows how I feel about her and how it hurts me. They aren't compatible too, because she's asexual, Kate in love. Language is physical touch, and she doesn't want kids. His biggest wish is to have a family of his own. Yeah, so even with, what you already know about them, there is an incompatibility romantically, So it's interesting when it comes through as well. It's not just the energetic, emotional thing. It comes through as actual desires being different as well. And Pooja, that's fine, don't worry. Step out and in as much as you want. I think we will be okay with the stream though, I think. So we started at 11. We may just go to like 1:30, 1-ish. That is half an hour more to an hour more at the moment. Which should be fine if there's only a few of us in. And then, yes, that should go fine with this guy's plans as well. You're welcome. Jan, what's worse to, if we even go on for another hour, I'm down to the bottom, so it may be more beneficial to end early and have another one later, when different people are also available as well. We'll see what happens. Jan, what's worse too, I feel like she has a level of delusion, like genuinely feeling herself to think he wants me because he hasn't said no when I push boundaries, so she takes that as a green light. So have you recently spoken to him about her? It's strange too, because we know how much Caden hates when others take the lead or push him. Do you know why he allows her to still be around? Yeah, but I think that there definitely is a passive energy to him, and I feel almost like if there was an issue in a relationship, he would still kind of just stay and see how it goes. I don't really see like him as being a little bit passive. Jan, is there any timeline you see for Caden fully cutting ties with M? Yes, I have seen that. Let me check. It's the yes. So what I really mean, like, I know that I have difficulty in explaining things and I do go off on tangents, but what I really mean is currently up to this point, there's not a lot of fully being able to cut off or fully wanting to cut off, but it is coming in and it is coming. And it's not that it hasn't happened or it hasn't felt like that, but it's very minimal, or passes quickly. But I do see paths for that, yes. Jasmine says the most recent sexual encounter, we were about to do it, but we were in a public restroom and people walked in, so we didn't. Okay, that's good as well then, just in case. I mean, have your experiences, and I don't want to scare anyone from having like fun experiences in the astral realm, but just be careful. It sounds like anyway, and I feel it with you as well, but it sounds like from the neutral entity, and them kind of not wanting you to shout at them, kind of thing. That you are very in tune with what is an entity and what isn't an entity, even when that one was even neutral, So I think you will be okay, but I would just say be mindful of the sexual experiences as well, because they can sometimes be an entity. And if the people walked in, that may have been like your higher self as well, preventing that as well. So that's interesting. John, I feel like I have no place to really speak up about that because me and him aren't dating. Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with that as well. I think it's in a sense, it would be in a sense you pushing yourself onto him as well. I might do some streams outside when it gets nicer. Oops. Just replying to Leon for a moment, he's at work. I'm having an issue with a parcel I sent out, and I sent it out, so I sent a parcel out to a client, and I sent it tracked, and they're saying that there's no like compensation on it. It's gotten lost. I think, what's the point in track then if it can still get lost? It doesn't make sense. Jan, when do you see him fully cutting ties? Hopefully the timeline goes smoothly. I think it will, though, considering the snowball of communication is soon. When do you see him fully cutting ties? Okay, so that's another thing that looks like it could be imminent. It does look like it could be very soon. But also looks like it could be within, so like, anytime from now to around 6 weeks is what's coming through. Jasmine, yeah, that neutral entity looked kind of scary. Like, it could have really got me, but was warning me not to do that. Jan, oh yeah, so I finally used the raw crystal in a call with Caden. Did the crystal's energy aid me and Caden during our call on the 20th? Okay, let's see. Yes, I'm guessing yes on that. So amplifying the thoughts that he has about you, and you staying kind of forefront in his mind, if that makes sense, seems to be, and crystals a lot of the time they will, when you work with them, amplify certain things, so it does seem like it amplified not his feelings, but his sorry, I'm just dealing with this, so annoying. So not his feelings, but the frequency of his conscious thoughts about you. Yeah, I would definitely keep up using it. Yeah. So, how are we doing? Are we coming to an end? It's so nice to have a stream where I don't feel so far from the end. I don't feel so like it's so busy. holding it near my heart during the calls. Amazing, that's wonderful. So it looks like we might be finished. Unless we get any others jumping in. This is very interesting. Replies to the post I put up about the thing I watched on Netflix. Some interesting replies from you guys. So you have Jasmine's reply, and also I think Aries mentioned something about it. I think Aries is going to get tickets. It sounds really interesting. Ooh, the music's back. Okay. Jan, does Caden think I'm obsessed at him? The 20th I cried a little and didn't explain why. I just said I was down. So it doesn't seem like he thinks that you are, but it does seem like there was some questioning about it. Like, is it me? Is it because of me? It does seem like there was questioning of it. You're welcome, Jasmine, you're very welcome. Jan, do you see us hanging out today? I asked him yesterday and we didn't finish our game and just replied with probably. Okay, today. Yeah, so I'm getting like about 60% on this, maybe 55, 60, so it does look like more prominent than not, so that's good. Amazing! Wow, it's been almost 2 hours. It's been really nice, guys, to have a very slow, relaxed stream. I do enjoy these streams. So what I will do, I'll get off now then, since it's very, very quiet. But I think I will come back a little bit later. Taking the kiddo to school. See you all later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye, Jasmine. And if you can make it later, then you're very welcome. Jan, I did try to clear up with him that it is a friend issue. This is the true reason on why I was crying, but I don't think he believed it. I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely a questioning of that. So I would say, I wouldn't say he didn't believe it, but I would say there was some, I don't know, like kind of skeptical energy around it. Amazing. Well, I'm going to thank you guys with the banner that now needs updating because Pooja has rejoined, I think. We've got some members joining just now. I think it was Pooja. Oh, just Pooja. Why did I think there was 2? But I still need to change it and put Pooja back on there. But yeah, so it's been wonderful. I very likely will come back today. So if you do think of any more questions, if you have any more questions, or for any members that aren't here may have missed it, I very likely will come back on today for a little bit. So he stayed up all night, and he usually does that when he's anxious. So I wonder if, yeah. So yes, I think that there was some impact to his. That had some impact in his anxiety. Yes. Oh yes, Jan, get some sleep. Get some sleep. It will likely be so. So I'm happy to finish now because it's in about an hour time. The guy's going to come. Then I'm going to go and pick up my car. So it's likely going to be, if I do come back on, it will be around 7, no, not 7, 8 p.m. GMT, which is in 7 hours. 7 hours. So I would say pass out, get some sleep. And if you do want to come back and join next time, it will be in around 7 hours, maybe a little bit longer than that. So you could easily get 6 hours in now. Don't stay up. Get some nice rest. Have a little sleep. Stay hydrated and all of those things. But yes, you're very, very welcome. So love, light and blessings to each of you. I hope to see you soon.